Good evening. Welcome to Tuesday at Two Lines. Hopefully everyone is having a great Tuesday. And we are having a very rainy day today. But it marks the beginning of a very busy week. So, yeah. What's going on in the slot car world today or this week? It's been actually a pretty good day in the slot car world for me today. So hopefully everybody's doing well. So let's check in on the chat. Chris Freder is in the chat. Welcome, Chris. Chris Pitskowski. So, do you have any cars coming now? Probably at work. Did you find Rost coffee? Chris went through Marty Country, no sign of me. I will be at the Pumpkin Show most of the day tomorrow. Just north of us in Circleville is the world's largest free show, I think is what they call it. I can't remember. But my employer is the title sponsor of the Great Pumpkin Way Off. So they have a world's largest pumpkin contest, and we sponsor that each year. And I will be hanging out all morning as we weigh in pumpkins, but it's probably been a rough year for pumpkins. So, Slot R, good evening. Let's see, who else do we have? Thanks, Slot R, for joining in. Gina is in the house. Hey, Gina, welcome. John Tucci is in the house. Greg is in the house. Bud Slots, Greg is in the house working on an NSR Classic Cars. Yes, so we'll talk a little bit about that tonight. Hosting a race this weekend here for, it's not just for the guys that are running the NSR Nationals, Eastern Nationals at Cloverleaf, but that's what it really is a practice race for that. Just be a different track so people can work on getting used to a different layout and get cars tuned up and ready, because November is going to be here before we know it. So that racing is this week on the Saturday. Doors open at 11. We'll practice until around 12:30, and then we'll qualify. And then we'll start racing around 1. That's the plan. So, don't know how many people will show up. Not expecting a big crowd, but hopefully we'll have a few here that we can do some testing. Let's see, who else do we have? So, Greg is working on some cars to bring. That's awesome. Good evening. Revo has been dropping some great cars. Yes, Greg, I agree. When you look at what is coming from Revo and what they've already released in 2024, it's pretty substantial range of cars, which is really, really pretty cool. Thomas, good evening. Welcome, Tom. Good to have you. Thanks for joining. HSF is here in the house, but I haven't seen his comment. So, hey, Mark Cunningham, welcome. Glad you guys are tuned in tonight. If I don't type much, it's because I'm cutting up business cards into very small rectangles. I blame Shotgun Dave for this. When in doubt, just blame Dave. No, that's not true. John Albright, it's time once again for our weekly dose of Tuesdays at Two Lions. Hey, thanks for tuning in, John. I appreciate it. Yeah, Chris, I'm not sure I understand why Dave is cutting up a bunch of business cards either. Hey, George. But done. Dad joke there. Well done. HSF, there you are. Good evening. Maybe I'm looking at the comments backwards. So happy Tuesday, guys. Hey, to fingers. Hey, nobody's home. Patriot, welcome. Good to have you in the chat tonight. Chief Redback is here. Curvy is here. Welcome, guys. James Tharp. Hey, James, your Mets are looking pretty good, man. They're looking pretty good. Michael Squire is in the house. Hey, Vin. Hey, Dennis. Welcome. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you tuning in tonight. So I don't know what all we'll get into. I don't really have a ton to talk about, but usually nights that I don't have anything to talk about, we end up going long. And hey, B2. Welcome. Hey, Bob. Good to have you. Jim. Thanks for joining, Jim. Yeah, we have a lot of people in the house tonight. I don't know. We're all up to almost 60 already. The professor himself. What is going on? Thanks for joining. Good to have you. Hey, Dusty. Watching on the TV while I install decals on my Nationals cars. Nice. See, I really, talking about the Nationals cars, I've got Roxy. I need to do some work on. I still need to get a clear coat on her. And then I have this 908, and I think I'm just going to go with that livery. And I have a backup car, which is this 908. That's for vintage. But the only thing I have prepped and ready to go, it's not really ready to go, but that I'm working on is my C8 Corvette for the GT class. So I still have some work to do. I ordered some parts, So I've got to get a parts order in. And not everybody has everything I need. So Dusty threw something in on his order for me. And then I've got to order from a couple different places to get everything I need to finish these cars. So, Dusty, I'm glad you're getting your cars finished. Vin, Marty, do you know who makes a good cappuccino machine? I'm embarrassed to be Italian and not have one. Vin, so I have an espresso machine, and I can make a cappuccino. And I will say that it's an expensive venture. Coffee. You can buy a lot of $5 cappuccinos from a coffee shop for the price of a solid espresso machine and grinder. I actually have more money in my grinder, and I bought it used, than I do my espresso machine. But I've got an Expo bar, which is now called Crema. The company got bought by an American company, and they changed the name. But similar machines. I'm really happy with it. I've had it about 7 or 8 years now. Something like that. Yeah, 7 years. And I'm super happy with it, but I'll probably need to replace it in the next couple years. I try to keep it fairly clean and ready to roll, but yeah, espresso machines can cost you some money. So ask for a good brand. You can jump off the deep end and go with like a Rocket or a EMC or Crema, La Mazzarco, which is like super high end. But there are some machines now, these auto machines, they're fully automatic, So you put the beans in the top, and it grinds it, makes your coffee, figures out where the grind needs to be. It's all automated. Jura is a brand. They're still pretty expensive machines. So, yeah, I don't. Breville makes some good entry level stuff. That's probably the cheapest you'll find. Yeah, you'll find it's actually more expensive than slot cars. If I'm being honest, I mean, the next espresso machine that I look at is probably going to be about $2,500, which means I probably won't be looking at it for a long, long time, unless I sell something to. I'll just keep using the one I have. I bought it refurbished. I think I have about $600 in it. So there's a website out there called Whole Latte Love, and they sell refurbished machines. That's actually a pretty good way to go because they've certified them, but you can save some money. Hey, So Fast, what's up? Josh Reed is in the house. Hey, Josh. I'm looking forward to getting some trigger time in tomorrow at Cloverleaf testing some NSR cars. Yeah, Josh, I'm curious how things run up there. You have to let me know. Hope you enjoy the day. That'll be good. John Allright, this year's Half Moon Bay Pumpkin Festival winner came in at 2,471 pounds out of Minnesota. That's a lot of pumpkin. Yeah, man. I'm trying to remember what our winner was this last year. I think we were just short of that, maybe 2,300 pounds. I just posted a picture of it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It was. Oh, I can't see the weight on it. It was a big, big pumpkin. But I was thinking it was like 2,351 pounds or something. And that's the record that we've had. But we've had a pretty hard drought year here in Ohio, so I don't know that we'll have pumpkins that big this year. But who knows? So Fast is in the house. Welcome, So Fast. Glad you're here. So yeah, Josh, let us know how the racing goes, man. Enjoy. Hey, there's Mike. Welcome, Mike. Let's see, Daryl Rogers is in the house. Hey, Daryl. John Mark Hall is in the house. Wow, we got a lot of people. Thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate it. Hey, Mike. Thanks for the message today. I appreciate that. Just let me know however I can help. Steve, what's going on? Welcome, Steve. B2. So B2, actually, the parking situation here is really, really, really good. So we can accommodate pretty good sized motorhome. I've got four different parking lots actually, right around me. I live in the downtown area, and I've got a funeral home behind me that has plenty of space. My church actually, which is right around the corner, we just built a brand new parking lot right on the corner, just down from my house. There's plenty of room there. And then across the street, the local telephone company, their headquarters, they have a parking lot across the street. So we have plenty of room for a motorhome. Doors open at 11. Yeah, Daryl says right. Marty's got a big parking lot. Yeah, Daryl, you haven't been here. The church tore down those houses, and there's a big parking lot on the corner too. So Black polystyrene sheet has the perfect satin finish. Uh-oh. What did I miss? What are we talking about? I missed it. I hope all you guys have a ball at the Nationals. Yeah, Greg, I think it'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I think probably as much as I'm looking forward to just seeing how my car runs on the scale auto track, I think is just getting to meet a bunch of people that I've met through the channel. So I'll have the opportunity to meet some people in person, and I'm really looking forward to that. So that'll be fun. Vin, I hear Suzuki makes a good cappuccino machine, 63 horsepower turbo, 3-cylinder, 2-seater sports car. Oh, you're talking about coffee. But yeah, going back to Greg, I think we'll have a great time, Greg. I'm looking forward to it. Danny, will this practice be live streamed? I think I will. I think I'll throw the camera up here and overlook that shot of the track and just kind of let it ride. And I'll probably stream once we start racing. So probably not the practice, but maybe I'll kick a stream on about 1:00 Eastern, and you guys can tune in, and we'll see how many people show up and how long that race is going to last. But I'm expecting maybe 5 or 6 people. Yeah. If there's going to be more than that, if somebody is coming, send me a message, just so like kind of RSVP, mainly because I want to make sure I order enough pizza for lunch. So that would be a big help. Hey, Gary, thanks for joining. Good to have you. Let's see here. What else? Hey, Harry. Harry's in the house. Welcome, Harry. Glad you're here. Heck, I could pick up a few people on my way from Indianapolis. Apparently, Marty has a cappuccino machine, so we're good. Morning coffee. I have an espresso machine, and I can make cappuccinos. I can make, my specialty is a roast coffee drink. That's called a Cubano. That's my favorite drink. But then there's brown butter. There's Goldie Hawn. There's a handful of other signature roast drinks that I kind of know how to make that are good. But if you just like straight black coffee, I can make an Americano with the best of them. So, yeah, I can make some coffee. PB Dangler, what's up? Welcome. Glad you're here. What are some of the new cars some of you guys get? So my latest, greatest car is the NSR 908 Curvy. I've never been a big Martini livery fan, but I really like the silver on this car. I really, really like this car. And so I picked that up from Bruce at Cincy Slots the first night we went racing 2 weeks ago. We all the Chillicothe guys had to miss this past week. And then I actually have the 101. I have had this out of the box. I have tuned it a little bit. It still has some more work, but this is the latest Shadow, the DN4, the UOP 101 car from Watkins Glen in 1974. So that's a fairly new car for me. What else do I have? I mean, I have Roxy that I've been working on. That's that was like a white kit, 908. What else? Outside of that, I don't really have any new cars. I'm getting ready to start once we get the national cars finished. Getting ready to start on my proxy build for the showdown. Looks like I will be building the Demon. Oops, gosh, the Demon. So George sent me this body from his resin printer, and it looks awesome. So I'll be painting this car up, getting it ready to send for the showdown. And then I also have to build my NASCAR. So I'm running a little late, procrastinating on that a little bit. So I don't know what else is in the chat. Anybody else got a new car this week? We got something on order. John, espresso machines are a deep rabbit hole. Have been through a few. Currently enjoying the Breville Oracle Touch. Yeah, the Breville, that Oracle Touch is a nice machine. It's solid. So, and I think that the price is right with that machine for what it does. Sorry, guys. I'm really dry for some reason. Sure. Let's see here. Ecam Live. Oh, man. George just sent me a picture of his showdown. Oh, man, George. That looks awesome. Fantastic. He just sent me a picture of it and says, "This is what it could look like when painted and done on a chassis." That's cool. That's really cool. Jeffrey Powers? Bosch makes a good coffee machine. I have not messed with the Bosches, but I've heard good things. Yeah, thanks for all the suggestions. Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, slot cars, espresso machines, guitars. What else? I mean, I've got a million hobbies. I can talk about a lot of different things. Mike says, "Josh, we'll see you tomorrow." That's awesome. I'm a little jealous, Josh. I'd really like to get some laps on the shop track. That'd be fun. I feel lame. I just use a Keurig for most of my coffee. It even has espresso pods. Michael, we have a Keurig machine here too. My wife does not know how to use the espresso machine, so if I'm not making her coffee there, she's making it on the Keurig. So don't feel lame. There are lots of people that use a Keurig. I just feel like the Keurig gets a little expensive. And then I remember that I bought an espresso machine and a grinder. Can buy a lot of K-cups for that. 2,749 pounds, Atlantic Giant Seeds, Minnesota champion. That's crazy. Crazy big pumpkin. Marty has a lot of pics to go through with his slot cars and chicken and rabbit and pigs and cattle photos. Entirely right. Yeah, we bought some animals this past week at the Fairfield County Fair. So skip the espresso machine and just get French press. There you go. French press does a nice job. I have to be honest with you. I like the espresso out of my espresso machine better, but French press is an inexpensive way to make espresso. I've got a question for all of the tuners here. My NSR C8 is giving me problems. My NSR C8 test car runs fine, but my number 64 has a bad case of wheel hop. Changed wheels and tires, but no luck. Greg. So wheel hop, is it the rear hopping? Or is it the front? Coffee and slot cars are a great way to start the day. Greg says that that the Atlantic Giant seeds are from my hometown in Nova Scotia, Windsor, developed by Howard Dill. That's cool. Michael Squire has a French press slot R. He enjoys using it. Greg asked, what kind of wheel hop? In the corners or when the car comes under power? That's a good question. Both. So, Marty, how close to a Best Western? How close is the Best Western to you? Is there a Best Western in Chillicothe? Is the old Holiday Inn a Best Western, Dusty? That if it's the hotel, I think it is. There's the Chillicothe Motel that you don't want to stay in. That's the closest to me. There's lots of Airbnbs that are probably cheaper than some hotel rooms. But all of the hotels in Chillicothe are in about the same area. There's a Fairfield Inn. There's a Comfort Inn. Those are pretty nice hotels. And those are about a mile and a half from my house. So they're very close. Nothing wrong with a press, a vacuum pot, or a pour over either. How do we brew? Let us count the ways. Yeah, John. Yeah, we've pour over. I have to admit I am a milk-based coffee drinker, so I like milk-based drinks. Actually, half and half is my choice. So I go for the hard stuff. I can go no sugar, but I really do like some half and half. I don't love creamer, but I do like half and half. I like powdered creamer. Not a big fan. Curry, they are like 5 minutes from him, almost straight up the road. Yeah, they're easy to get to. Bud slots. Check the bushings if they move around. How is your front end set up on both cars? Are they about the same, or is the fronts lower on the 64 car? Yeah, I was going to ask if the front end was set up the same. Yeah, Greg, that's a good thing to check. Like I was thinking if the axle was popped out, that would be a big problem, but that would be very obvious. The thing you might check is to make sure that your bushings are in line. That rear axle is in line. If you got a bushing that's kind of out of whack, it might still allow decent gear mesh, but not allow that rear end to hop. Yeah. So just what Greg said. Greg, check the basics first. Wheels can be bent, axles can be out of true, bushings can be loose. Yeah. I have a car that has plastic front wheels. And when I put the tires on, I bent the plastic on the inside because it was a press-on, and that wheel will wobble on me, even though I've tried to fix it the best I could. But I don't really get wheel hop. I would think the wheel hop comes from the rear. Yeah, glue in the bushings for sure and see what happens. Hey, Terry. Good morning. Welcome. Glad you're here. We're trying to help Greg figure out why his NSR C8 has got some wheel hop going on. Long black is better than an Americano. My wife, she's an Americano fan. The long black is just a little bit different. Kirby says, I have a 908 from Litech slots. She picked it up from Warren. I still have to put it together. I picked up 3 Carrera Porsche 917s. Nice. I like the Carrera Porsche 917s are my favorite Carrera cars. John, enjoying a different martini right now. That's great. Espresso martini, John. Several Revo Escorts in the mail. There you go, Chris Freder. He's got some cars on the way. Also, the Fast Lap Challenge for Dave's challenge. Oh, dang it. George, you're right. That's the one I got to get done first because I'm bumping up against the – dang it. I'm bumping up against the deadline for that. Good reminder. I tried to paint my first 3D body I bought off eBay, and it was a disaster. HSF, I have to tell you, I've had some disaster paint jobs. Not going to lie. Hey, Jamie. Welcome. Thanks for joining, man. Good to have you. Let's see here. Bosch make a great dishwasher. I have picked up a thing for the 917 Porsche right now. I want to get the NSR version. I have 3 Carrera ones right now. Kirby, I have this 917 NSR, and I really, really like it. But it does not perform like as near as well as my 908s. But it looks good. I love the 917. Greg says, what happened to HSF? Did you get a bunch of orange peel or you pull the paint? I always have the problem where I lay down a good coat of paint and then I go to put clear on it and it ruins it. St. George Terrier, 2 olives, 2 onions. I enjoy a little salad with my martinis. Yeah, Greg, it's the rear. Okay. Yeah, check that the motor is secured and you don't have a cracked pod. You could also check the that comes with a metal spur, doesn't it? Yeah. I was going to say the Corvette comes with an aluminum spur. I was going to say you could have a cracked spur gear. Hey, Daniel. Welcome. John Albert says, did you glue the tires? The fingers. No, you don't want to stay at that motel in Chillicothe. Yeah, there's it's called the Chillicothe Inn, and it was something when I was a kid, but it's always full every night, but it's always getting in trouble. So you just might want to stay away from it. But it is the closest one to my house. It's only like 4 blocks, 4 or 5 blocks away. But yeah, I would stay away from that one. Yes, on Bridge Street. Yeah. Okay, so the Best Western, it's the old Holiday Inn. Yeah. We have a Holiday Inn Express on Main Street, out East Main. Holiday Inn Expresses have a certain level that they require, I think. So, but the Fairfield Inn is probably the nicest. It's the newest, and it sounds like we're getting another new one. 2-line slot cars. How about the hotel up 104 with the tall fences with razor wire? Yeah, Chris. Yeah, we'll try to stay away from the penitentiary, the Chillicothe Correctional Institution. Yeah, there's actually 2 large prisons just outside of Chillicothe on the old Camp Sherman grounds. At one time, Chillicothe had the world's largest army base. It was called Camp Sherman. It was for World War I and World War II. And after World War II, it was dismantled, and the VA hospital took over a bunch of the buildings. And It's where our World Heritage Site is, Hopewell Mound City. And then some of the other buildings, they were turned into a prison. So we have a state penitentiary, and then we have the Rost Correctional Center across the street. So, yeah. We'll stay out of that one. DeFingers made that mistake staying there. DeFingers, I forget why you stayed in Chillicothe. I know you've shared that story with me. That's funny. Hey, Daniel Thomas, welcome. Oh, did I miss the joke? Where's it at? How did Moses make coffee? Bob Palmer. He brews it. But nice. That's good. Daryl still uses his grandma's percolator coffee pot. That's how my grandma made it. A percolator. Always smelled so good. Daniel with heads of Egyptians. Jeffrey Powers, how do you size super tires? Looking to try them on a slotted 917. Let's see. The slotted 97. A slotted 917? That's a good question. They have a sizing chart for super tires, but I'm not sure. Oh, Daryl already answered the question, 1403. Thanks, Daryl. There you go, Jeff. Hey, Slot Car League of Champions, welcome. Happy Tuesday from KR Bridges. Tuesday all from the Slot Car Guys Club at Tailspin Hobbies in Apollo, Pennsylvania. KR Bridges, I need to look at that on the map and see how close that is. You're 4 hours away. B2. Yeah, I'm almost exactly 4 hours away from Indianapolis. There's just a little play in the bushing on the gear side of the car. Yeah, I would glue that down. That probably fixes your wheel hop. The best way to glue the bushing, you could use a couple things. You could use something like this, like a CA glue, and or you could probably use like a shoe goo. The shoe goo is a little flexible than the CA, but I'm sure that somebody else will answer that. Mocha with extra shot of coffee. That's good. Hey, Mike G. Welcome. There you go. Super glue or shoe goo. Greg already answered it. Yeah. Yeah, the slow drying super glue. So you've got time to make sure that it's seated right before it holds. Hey, Gerardo is in the house. Welcome. Hey, Todd. Good to have you. Thanks for joining. John Albright says, NSR Super Grip rubber will expand off of air wheels under acceleration and cause chatter. Gluing the tires would be the first thing I would try. Hey, Eric. What's up? Good job. Thanks, guys, for helping them out. I appreciate that. Kirby, question. Marty, why do you think that is? I would have figured the 917 would be a little better than the 908. Well, let's compare them a little bit. So here's the 908. See if we can get it to focus. Here's the 917. So let's look at the wheelbases. Wheelbases are pretty close. Look at the triangle. The triangle is pretty close from the guide to the rear center of the rear axles. Okay. So pretty similar. But when you look at the car from front to back, the 917 is much longer, even though the wheelbase is the same. So you've got a lot of weight hanging out behind the rear tires and the rear wheels. And so if you ask me, I feel like that's why the 908 is a little better, is it doesn't have a bunch of weight back behind the wheels, the rear wheels. And, yeah, that's just my theory. But all in all, there's a little bit of, even though the wheelbase is pretty much identical, the nose is a little longer. So you got some weight towards the front and the weight towards the back. I know that's not a very good theory, but I feel like the 908 is a little lighter car. They seem to work. Although Dusty's got a 917 that screams around this track, and he likes to race it here. But I think the 908, that short wheelbase, all of your weight is kind of right in the middle. It's just a well-balanced car, and that would be my take on it, Curvy. Some other people might have some other opinions that would be good to hear. Eyeing up the MSC 132nd Pantera. I think it's the best looking Pantera out there for slot cars. Slot Car League of Champions. I would have to agree that Pantera looks really, really good. Daryl raced one a couple weeks ago, and at Cincy Slots, and it looks fantastic on the track. I'm super impressed with it. Hey, Gary. What's up, man? Eric, I'm getting bombarded. Hey, Danny. Good evening. So B2, so it's practice from 11 to basically 1, and then we'll race from 1 until we're done with 2 classes. So it's all on Saturday. Yep, Daryl absolutely is. I just built one up. Yeah, it looks really, really good. Daryl did an awesome job, and it runs good too. Daniel Ortiz, for the NSR East Coast Nats, can we glue front and or rear tires? I think you can glue the fronts to true them, but I don't think you can glue the rears, Daniel. Greg can fact check me, but for some reason I remember them saying that Mike can actually probably answer that in the chat too. I don't think they want you gluing the rear tires. Marty, the reason I asked about the Best Western was my parents stayed there last weekend. Oh, did they really? In Chillicothe? So that's our old original Holiday Inn, and it's changed hands a handful of times over the years, and it's kind of hit or miss. So I know some people that have stayed in some Best Westerns lately and have not had the best experience. So that's why I'm a little nervous, Curvy, that's the hotel they landed at in Chillicothe. But they're right next to the BW3s, like Buffalo Wild Wings, and a China buffet. And the Sam's Club. So what brought them to Chillicothe last week? Hey, Eric. Oh, that's right. DeFingers. Thank you. Thanks for reminding me. Yep. Your son lived in Chillicothe. I remember that now. Sorry about that. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, Danny, glad to have you, man. Thanks for jumping on. I appreciate you. I think the 908-3 having a shorter tail just has better balance, like the real car. Yeah, Chris, I agree. That's my take on it as well. Oh, Jeff says the slotted 956. Jeff, still 1403s for the Group C cars. I think I have 1402s or 1403s on all of those. The 1402s are pretty short, but they all work on that rim, on that wheel. So that's what I'm running on mine. A slotted size, 19, outside diameter, 10, 5 for most cars. But the 1403, I know works really, really well on the Group C cars. That's what I have on all of mine. Yep. What else? Hey, Tad. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Appreciate that. Tad says it finally feels like it's fall in South Indiana. Yeah, we cooled off. That's why I got my sweatshirt on. It's not too bad down here, but it really cooled off here. We had a rainy day in Ohio, which we could still use the rain. We're still pretty dry, but it really cooled off today. So yeah, it does finally feel like fall. Greg says he'll try gluing the tires as well. Gerardo, the pink pig needs glue and true with a little weight and should hug those corners. Yeah, Gerardo, I have mine running pretty good. It's just not as fast as my 908. My 908 is pretty quick. And John adds, Greg, how did you guys fare during the hurricane last week? Hopefully everything was okay your way. My aunt and uncle who live over on Vina Del Mar, is that right? Vina Del Mar? No. Yeah, Vina Del Mar, just off of right there by the Don Cesar. You take the bridge over to Vina Del Mar off of Gulf Boulevard. There in Paso Grill. I'm trying to remember the restaurant, Sea Critters. I should go over the bridge right there by the marina that I kept seeing on the news with all the boats everywhere. So hopefully you fared okay. John says the 917-10 would have an advantage on the larger sweeping tracks. Dusty's 917-10 runs really good on this track. It probably runs just about as good as the 908. They're really, really close on this layout. It'll be interesting to see what runs well on the layout that Mike is going to build for the Nationals race. I'm really curious to know what that track layout is going to look like. Yeah, Daniel, it has less mass to drag around. Yeah, it is a little lighter. The body is a little lighter. It's actually a lot lighter. Feels like deer season. That's right around the corner. Heck, we had sleet in Central India. You had sleet today? Dang. Yeah, I think so. We're on the same page. Don't get me wrong. I love the 917. Like visually, it's one of my favorite cars of all time. I didn't love the 908, but I loved that 908. And then once I got the 908, I realized how much I really do enjoy the rest of them. They're a fun car. And they really grew on me. Chief Redback says it's supposed to get down to 33 tonight. Whew, yeah, we have a frost warning here too, I think. So my garden is done. No more jalapenos or habaneros. I think I picked the last. I picked about a dozen habaneros the other day. I've kind of run out of things to do with them. Yep. Your first freezes tonight. Too cold for me, fellas. B2, I work late on Fridays. I get home about 6. So 50 West Brewery has a good burger. It's on the corner from my house. There's a place called the Poorhouse that will always be busy. Good food. There's a Old Canal Smokehouse that has great food. They'll be really busy on a Friday night, but there's plenty of places downtown to eat dinner. Let's see here. What else? You brought your plants in and tomatoes. Yeah, and the tomato season is over. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I think most of Ohio has a freeze warning, Chris. Hey, Shane, what's up? Thanks for joining. I appreciate you tuning in. Wow, we got a great crowd tonight. 91, 40 likes. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the likes. Kirby, Marty, they are going to Michigan to see family. I almost went with them. Maybe next time they go, I will tag along and we can meet up. Kirby, you show up to Chillicothe, we'll grab Rost coffee before we hit the track. Just let me know. We'll make it happen. We'll call Dusty and John Mark, and we'll get some people together, and we'll race some laps here. Northwest Ohio up to Toledo cooled off a lot. High in Dayton was 80 when I left Sunday. It's been in the 50s so far this week. Fall is here. That's right. Yep. Jeffrey Powers. 15 millimeter wheels get 1403s. 17 millimeter sideways wheels get 1407s. Daryl is the man. He knows. He's got the numbers memorized. He's all over it. Yes, I like no one knows what the track will be for you. I like Greg. Let's talk about that a little bit. I like the fact that people are going to show up on Friday to practice, and the track will be a new layout that no one has had a chance to run laps on. I think that will really even out some of the field, and it will for people who adapt really quick, which any of your seasoned racers, us newbies, we don't adapt quite as fast, but any seasoned racer, give them an hour on the track and they have all the lanes figured out. So, but it will be good that everybody will start at an even. Ted asked Marty, get that bug done for Dave's. I'm looking for some wheels and tires for it. I do have another order I need to. Dang it! I've spent too much money lately. I need to finish that bug though. You're right. But Bud, Greg, I feel the same way. It will make for some great racing. Everybody in the same boat. Everybody kind of starts from scratch, trying to figure out what gearing works best, what tire, we know what tires are going to use, but what setup's going to work best. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Wow, that's crazy. Sleet. Has the Nats layout been published yet? No, John. No, I don't know that we will know until we walk in there that weekend. That's what it's looking like. So, Josh, I can also recommend 50 West. Good burgers, good beer, very reasonable prices. Left full after having a burger, fry, and a beer for less than $20. Yeah, it's not an expensive burger, but it's a good burger. Burger and fries, nothing fancy. But we have some other places. Fire and Stone Pizza is like a wood-fired oven downtown that has great pizza. We've got a great hibachi place downtown that's locally owned. We have the Dock on the Water, which is just bar, nightclub kind of atmosphere. Yeah, they have live music on the weekends. They have great food. So yeah, you won't go hungry in Chillicothe. And then if you go out to all of our shopping area, you've got all the Roadhouse and Olive Garden and Buffalo Wild Wings, and you have all the chains out there. But downtown, we have some great locally home-owned places. So always good. What else do we have? Wow, I got to the bottom. Before 9 o'clock, I got to the end of the comments. That's great. Doesn't do big races, just race director. You got to race if you come in here, Daryl. So today, some things to share. I had really a handful of great conversations today that were fun. The first one, I hope he doesn't mind that I'm sharing this. My phone rang, and it was Ernie from MR Slot Car. So Ernie Mazzetti, and he called for a couple things. He thanked me for the review of the C1, and he thought I did a nice job with that. So I really appreciated that coming from the person who designed the car. So thank you, Ernie, for that. Kind of made my day. So it was great to get a chance to talk to you. But the other thing he asked, where he was like, "Can you take a picture? Do you still have the car?" And I had to tell him, like, no, I think Marco has the car, or Jim Rose still has the car, because Jim put his video out on Saturday of the C1, and I think he was supposed to send it back to Marco. So I think Marco has the car and the Lotus. So, but that was pretty cool. And had a great conversation with Mike Stott today. And so, Mike, thanks. Shout out to Kevin Sharp. Kevin called me and wants to do something for Black Friday again. Hope he's okay that I say that. And so I'll be working with Kevin at Racetrack Scenics again this year on a project that would be fun. So got some cool things coming, and yeah, it's been a good week. Not complaining, even though the weather's been bad. The slot car has been good. So, and then hosting a race on Saturday, so that'll be fun, and we'll have a good time. While it would be nice to have an idea of what the tune to, it would be fun to read the track and dial your cars in on practice days. Yeah, John, the only problem I think is we will practice on Friday and qualify maybe Friday night, and then race on Saturday. And so there's not a ton of time, but I think we'll have the cars pretty dialed in and probably just have to do some minor adjustments, maybe with gearing based on how big the track is. Their hope originally was to have two tracks that were kind of a mirror of each other and run vintage and the GT classes at the same time. So based on qualification, one half of the field would be doing one and one half of the field would be doing the other. I think they had around 40 drivers last year, if I'm not mistaken. I have a feeling that with promotion and another year of success for that race, that 40 is probably a low number. I may be wrong, but I feel like we keep getting feedback from a lot of people saying, hey, I'm going to go. Looking forward to Michigan. And that would be great if we had a big number. It just might make for a really long race day on Saturday, running two classes on the same day and having, lots of people. So if it's only one track, that's going to be really, really tough if we have a big crowd show up. But we'll see what happens. Hey, Slightly Mad. Welcome. Good to have you. Thanks, Daryl. It's not going to stay like that. I missed what they were talking about. So my apologies. Slot I'm not sure what you're referring to. I missed that part of the conversation. I'm going to turn it into a particular racing version of the Anglia. Okay. I should have known that you were talking about the Anglia. Driven by my childhood and all-time driving hero. That's cool. I had a little bit of insight. Dave and I have talked about this. So I'm excited to see how this turns out. That'll be fun. Neil says, "Hi, Marty. Before you go, I just want to say your interview was great. You've made it now." Neil, thanks. Thanks for the kind words, man. I really appreciate that. I thought my plumbing stack here was the star of the show right behind my head the whole time. And then my HVAC on this side behind Marco's head the whole time was great. We didn't have any slot cars in that shot at all. I think those guys were so exhausted they just wanted to get the interview over with. But we got a big laugh out of it. So it was actually pretty funny when we set the cameras up and we were like, let's just go with it. And then my wife went to the bathroom and flushed the toilet in the middle of the interview, which was a very funny part. But Neil, thanks, man. That means a lot. I'm glad you enjoyed the conversation. I thought the conversation went really well. I have to be honest, I have had so much feedback from that. That video doesn't have a lot of views. It's got like 900 views, maybe 800 views. I haven't looked at it for a couple of days. So I was kind of hoping that it might be a little better performing video for the Electric Dream guys, but the feedback that I've gotten from people who watched it has been so good. I just really appreciate those who've reached out to tell me thanks and then just say nice things about just me being in the hobby, and that means a lot. I really appreciate it. No desire to sit in a motel room in Michigan for 2 or 3 days. Yeah, well, if you were up there, you'd be racing, right? Daryl, not hanging out in a motel. Dusty has finished the decals and has a light clear coat over them. Nice. You need a quick pit crew. Yeah, John. John, you have a motorhome. You can drive out. No, John, I'm curious to know if you're going to make it to the NSR Western Nationals, which is the weekend before. Terry, is the race you're talking about going to be streamed? I hope that it is. I know that Mike has got a million things trying to prepare for that. But it would be great to be able to stream that. Now, I know that it's not going to be at the quality that Electric Dreams streams. They have put a ton of work and have a team of people that help with that. So it probably would not be that kind of coverage, but if we can throw a camera up and get a good shot of, one of the tracks and stream one of the classes, that would be pretty cool. So if there is not a stream, but I've got decent internet, maybe I will stream from my channel, if Mike's okay with that. If nobody's streaming from them, but if Mike is planning to stream it on his channel, I will share that out and we will get people there to watch. So details to come on that. We'll work on that, Terry. Live the review on the Corvette, Marty, on order. Nice. Ernie gave me some info today about the cars, and guys, I can't really talk about it. He didn't really give me information that I couldn't really share, but just know that they've got some really cool stuff coming for this class. So, yeah, stay tuned. I think we'll have more information by the end of the year on the direction that class is going to go for MR slot cars, and I think we got some cool stuff coming. Tad asked Dusty, "Are you working on your Bud car?" Tad, not yet. He is working on his Nationals car. Terry, I'm hoping somehow we get the NSR Eastern Championship streamed. This year is definitely an exciting year for the race. Yep, I hope so too. Let's see here. What else do we have? Hi, Dusty, bro of Marty. Trying to get Bruce to stream the races again. Daryl, I will say that when I do video from Bruce's track, I get a great response. Like that video, I don't know, it's got over 1,000 views. It's been out a week. That's awesome. And I think people enjoy watching the racing at all these different tracks. So for people who are out there streaming races from their tracks, well done. That's fun. That's fun content that we all just can enjoy. It's hard to stream a slot car race because the cars are so fast and they're small, and it's really tough for some of these cameras to pick them up. So, like, you have to really give people credit for giving it a shot. When I put my camera up here and shine out across, like that vantage point, the racing shows up really good. The cars actually look a little slower than they really are, but it's good because you can actually visually see the cars. I use my iPhone 15 Pro Max up there, and that does a great job of keeping most everything in focus. It's not perfect. I'm not streaming in 4K. I think 4K would be tough, but it seems to work pretty good. Slot Car League of Champions. Question: are there any open wheel slot car tournaments? There's all kinds of open wheel racing. A lot of guys are running those, the Polycar F1s. That class is popping up all over the place. Guys really like that. So I'm guessing that we'll probably see more of that. I know that the NSR Nationals, the Worlds, they run an F1 class and a GT class. I feel like that. Maybe not. Maybe they run vintage and GT. But I felt like the Formula One cars ran. Maybe that was last year at the Nationals. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. What else? Terry, welcome to the rabbit hole that is slot car racing. If you're close to Cloverleaf, I'd highly recommend coming out and at least spectating at the minimum, if not racing. Yeah, Terry, don't be afraid. That might be fun. You said you're a newbie. I'm just trying to figure all this out. Hey, we all are there. I still feel like I'm a newbie some days, especially when I don't race very good. But yeah, again, the first time we went to a race, we were planning to be spectators. And Daryl saw he had none of that. He was not allowing that to happen. So he put us in some cars, and we had a blast. And it changed the whole. Like I said in the interview, it changed the whole channel for me. I really started going a different direction because it had such a positive impact on us in the hobby. Shout out to Bruce and what he's built there. But it's really the people that make that environment so much fun for us. We joke, we drive almost 2 hours one way to race two 3.5-minute races on analog and a 14-minute digital race. Like, for 28 minutes of lapping, of racing, well, seven. If we run 2 analog classes, that'd be 14 minutes of racing. So that tells you that we're going there for more than just the slot car racing. We really enjoy the company. The guys there are great. Everybody gives everybody a hard time, and we just have a lot of fun. And I hope that you get a chance to experience that, Terry. Hey, Collection, good to have you tonight. Ready for another enlightening evening? I don't know about that. I mean, we're an hour and 10 minutes in, and I'm not sure we've really covered anything, but it's super fun. It's not a rabbit hole. Well, I would say that it can be a rabbit hole because I'm always like clicking on links and going deeper and deeper and deeper, but it is fun. It is a fun hobby. 500 of the views are me watching, wishing I could be there. That's great. Yeah, same here, Jamie. It will be fun. Let's see here. My cars are great for streaming slow. Yeah, Dusty's sandbagging a little bit too. Bruce uses an iPad on an IV pole. That's funny. Hey, whatever works, right? They used to do an F1 race at the NSR Eastern Championships. It has been cut because we could get done with the first Saturday class at 8 or 9. There you go. That makes sense. Probably a good idea. Josh, get a new hobby. Josh has lots of hobbies. Dusty is still not a fan of the Polycar F1. Yeah, we've had a problem getting excited about that class. Everyone would know me because I am the first one to the scene of a crash. I want to race open wheel cars on Greg's track, high flying action. Jamie is right. That scaly track, the lane separation is so tight that there's a lot of bumping that goes on. So if you were racing open wheel cars, you'd be flipping cars everywhere. Josh says open wheel racing on your track or Greg's track would be crazy. Yeah. Yeah, Jamie, your track's pretty tight too, isn't it? The lane spacing. High stakes racing. Jim, sounds like fun to me. Yeah, I agree, Jim. It's a lot of fun. Now, there are people that get upset when there's a little bit of bumping that goes on. So sometimes you have to be careful who you're racing next to. Mad Dad. Hey, Mad Dad. Welcome. Glad you're here. Fun, and more fun. Yeah. I remember Marty's first videos racing on a budget. That's funny now. Greg, I'm still trying to race on a budget. Just this NSR Nationals race is about to break my budget. Yeah, Greg keeps sending me lists. Do I have it? Greg keeps sending me lists of parts I need to order to make my car go faster. And I'm almost at the point where I'm like, it doesn't need to go faster because I don't know if I can drive it if it's faster. So I'm just going to ride it out the way it is and just hope for the best. I have no, let me think about how I want to say this. I have no wild ideas that I'm going to go and win this race. So I'm just going to go ahead and eliminate that thought now so that I don't disappoint myself. But I am going to go do the best that I can with the cars that I can. And I'm going to focus on racing well. And wherever that lands, I'm going to be happy because I participated. And if you guys remember last year, I was planning to go spectate at the Nationals race. And mostly, I got this crazy migraine headache the day before, and I had it for like 3 straight days that whole weekend. And I think that it may have been just me worried about some of it was just me worried about the whole thing. And so this year, like, I'm going to I'm just not going to do that. We're just going to go have some fun. So, Jay, rubbin' is racing. Quoting my my favorite movie, one of my favorite movies. Greg also sends me things to get faster, more money spent. Mike will be happy tomorrow. Josh, that's what I should do. I should just give you my order. I should order it and just have Mike send it with you. That actually might be a great idea. Let me think about that. I could go ahead and order it online, pay for it, and just tell Mike that you'll pick it up and you can bring it back, and then we'll just meet up sometime to exchange parts. Budget. We don't need no stinking budget. Yeah, Clearwater. Yep, I just see dollar signs. Yeah, Tim. Yeah, don't worry. I've got parts laying all over this desk that have flown off cars. And we have a lot of laughs. Hey, 66 Slaughter, welcome. Thanks for joining. Good to have you. George, what budget? Budget. Thanks for joining tonight. It's 9:16. Gosh, what have we talked about? Cheap improvement, improve your driving, practice. DK Moon, that is the truth, man. I've been trying to just come down to the track, and I just, what I do is I'll run a practice race. I'll do like 5-minute heats or 10-minute heats in each lane and just see how many laps I can get and just race against myself. And then based on the laps, I can see if I'm improving or not. And so that's how I practice when I'm by myself. Tim, you're right. We still do laugh like kids. We all still act like kids too. I had that same headache the night before my wedding. Yeah, that's probably my best money spent though. DK Moon is practice. I'm on a budget with my 3D printing. You're staying busy with your 3D printing. Explain this budget idea, Jim. Well, Jim, early on my channel, I had a guy that just lit me up in the comment section about, I bought the GT40, the slotted GT40, number 19, the white with orange and black, right over there. And I bought that, and he was so upset and said I should have bought 3. One to race and destroy, one to put on the shelf to collect, and then have a spare. And was like, I can't believe any car you buy, you should buy 3 of each. And I've not been able to make myself do that. And I understood what he was trying to say, but I just couldn't. I try to be frugal, the best I can with the hobby. And there's a lot of cars that I want. There's a bunch of new Revo slots that I want, but I've only been buying cars that I know that I need for an upcoming class. So I'm just trying to keep it under control. Now, I know that there's going to be a car that comes out. I'm like, I have to have that. I pre-ordered the C1. So I have to have that car. And it'll come sometime in December. But I try to keep it under control. If you need a budget, just buy one. There you go. Yep, Tim, it'll be interesting to learn the new track. Right, sometimes the more I run a car, check tires, and practice, the lap times improve. Yeah, you learn how to keep the car, what the car likes. It just all takes laps. What's your slot car budget? Me, yes. love the way the slotted cars sound. So smooth. They're good cars. I love my Group C cars, my slotted Group C cars. Driving, how many laps can you do without leaving the slot regardless of speed? John, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. So I will set like 5-minute heats, and I'll run all 4 lanes, and I will allow myself 1 D-slot per heat. And if I break that, so if I have a second D-slot in that heat, I start the heat over. And I'm really trying to force myself to just be way more consistent, try to just drive under control. And it always, in the end, if I don't come out of the slot, it's always I'm breaking my heat record for laps. So, which means I'm getting faster and staying in the slot. So, but that's how I've been practicing. So, start in the yellow lane, the inside lane, and run that 5-minute heat. And if I don't de-slot, I move to the second heat and run the white lane, and then the red lane, and the blue lane. But I limit myself. When I started practicing that way, I allowed myself 3 slots before I forced myself to start the heat over. And then went to 2, and then now I'm at 1, and it's all about trying to stay in the slot. So there's lots of different ways to practice, but I feel like when I do that, I'm putting some pressure on myself that I feel when I'm at the track with a bunch of other guys standing around, right? So when I'm down here by myself, practicing, I have to try to create that environment so that my adrenaline gets up a little bit, and that impacts my trigger finger, right? That impacts my brake points. And so I'm trying to do things in my practice that would allow me to maybe get that stuff under control a little more, right? So, wow, we almost hit 100, but we're back down to 60. That's all right. It's late. We're about done. What else? When you first get in the hobby, there are so many things to buy that doesn't include cars. Yeah, Chris, that is one of the we're out of control. Chris, that is one of the things. Early on, you are you're buying a controller, or you are buying more track, or you're buying tools that you need, and you really, you're not really picking up cars. And then once you've got all those other ancillary items that you need for your track, like timing software or timing hardware, or whatever it is, then your budget money gets freed up for cars. And so I found like I didn't have a lot of cars for the first probably 6 months. I think I was 6 months in before I bought the Slotted, which was my first non-Carrera car. So we were only buying Carrera digital cars. So I agree. Sometimes it doesn't include cars. Vin, who's going to be the guy who makes the first 3D printed 1995 Mazda RX-7 Rocket Bunny? I do agree. Trigger time is one of the most important things for me. With more trigger time has come more consistency. It's always awesome to see consistency, quick lap times. When Josh was over here last week, we were examining the lap times. He was doing some testing on his car, and the car was fast, but what we all realized when we drove it was just how consistent our lap times were. So not only was the car fast, but we could drive it fast safely, stay in the slot. And so they were like, you look up and there would be like 12, 13, 14 laps in a row that were all within, 0.2 of each other. And that was like, that's pretty consistent. But they were even closer than that. With fast laps, you've got the fast streak. So we changed it to be within 0.005 of each other, the laps. Is that right? 3, 5. Maybe I made that tighter. Maybe I need to make it less tight. Yeah, I think I may have moved the wrong way on that timing when I changed that. Anyway, but you can get in those streaks and you can see how consistent your laps are, and if they're in a certain range, it highlights them in a row. And so if you get three or more in a row, you get a fast streak. And that's just kind of a vanity stat, but it's kind of fun in practice because it really shows you how consistent you are. Greg says, in most overbuy, there are numerous things I purchased early and no longer use. Yeah, I have some stuff laying around too that I don't use anymore, that I thought I really needed. I've bought a lot of parts thinking that's what I needed, and in the end I didn't, which come in handy down the road. You know, I usually find some use for them, but you're right. John, no D slots, crash and burn. So that's what I'm working towards. So I've been doing it by the week. So this week will be no D slots. If I D slot, the heat starts over. So. Daniel, question. Marty, are you still using the 522 network? Daniel, I am. I know a lot of guys are bouncing around and trying other things. I'm probably a little slower because I'm using the 522 network, but I don't know. I wasn't that slow at Cincy Slots a couple weeks ago, so it's still helping me. I think I'm going to pick up a couple different networks, though, in between the 522 and the 196, I think is the stock that I have. So, but good question, Daniel. Thanks. Yep, I'm still using that one. Let's see, Tim, I've moved on digital. We've moved to the digital controllers from, oh gosh, what are they called? True Speed, thanks. And I can do those with one hand, but I'm still a two-hand guy. Trigger with the right hand. I can hold it with the left and change the button. Yeah. I find practicing with 4 kids in the room all screaming and fighting while I'm running laps really helps me concentrate. Yeah, Jamie, that's right. Are they throwing things at you too? Keep you on your toes? That's great. Switch back to the standard network, and I think it's working for me. May try one in between. Yeah, Daniel, I may try one in between as well. The 522 is definitely a little slower, but man alive, I just feel like I have so much more control in my car. And I don't really notice that much of a difference when I go up. But sorry, I see it in my lap times. And now I'm a fly magnet. That's right. That's funny, Daryl. Thanks. Mad P. All of this budget talk is burning a hole in my pocket. Hey, it's a secret Weber. Welcome. Thanks for joining. What else do we have? That's intense, Jamie. Yeah, I mean, that you can't get any more realistic than Jamie's situation. You did within 0.005 seconds because we decided that was doable while we still being a challenge. It's probably one of my favorite features within Fast Laps. Yeah, it is. It's really, I didn't, at first, I thought it was like a really cool vanity thing, but Josh, when we were looking at your laps, it really was a great stat to look at. You could see where your longest streak was and what lap numbers those were compared to your overall lap count. And you could scroll down and see that streak. And it was really, yeah, Fast Laps, the more I use it, the more I love it. It's great. Patrick's done a great job. Any plans of changing my layout? I talked about this a couple weeks ago. We really like this layout, and I think that it's going to stay for a little bit. We are like in a couple days, it will be 1 year since I created this layout. And this is the layout that we've had the longest. And what we've discovered is we love, even though it's a shorter layout, it's only about 60 feet lane length, 4 lanes is so much fun. That we are really enjoying the 4 lanes, and I don't mind it when I'm by myself. It's not horrible. I don't wish that it was 100 feet. I'm perfectly happy with this layout. It's challenging. It has a great variety of turns and turn radiuses, and it's got, from fast sections, some technical sections. The S turns I love, and it's a place where you can really make up some time. So I don't know that there's any plans to change it anytime soon, but you never know. Sometimes I just wake up one day and go, okay, we need a new layout. But I think this one's sticking around for a while. Really like it. Yeah, so it is set up for thousands, for consistency. So it's 5 thousandths gap. So if they're in between, those lap times are within 5 thousandths of each other, it gives you the streak. So, yep. Lap time, median time, fast time. Yep. We have that information all in Fast Laps. Average lap time, it's all there. There's what you see on this screen that's on the wall is sort of the practice screen. When you go look at it in the on the computer screen, you have the director view, and you have all of that information at your disposal. It's really kind of nice. Clearwater, please explain network. Okay. So controllers have an ohm rating, and with the DeFalco, they use network, these networks that are plug and play, to change the amount of ohm rating. So, Greg, you can slow down your controller a little bit by going to a higher rated ohm rating. So it ships with like 192 ohm network in it. And then you pull that network card out and put a new network card in, and you can change it to like a 419 or I forget the numbers, 522. And the higher the number, the slower the controller is, but it's not super slow. Like it's hard to tell the difference between like a 192 and a 230 or whatever the next level is. I don't notice a big difference, but I notice a big difference between 192 and 522. So, but that's what the network is. It's the plug with all the resistors in it that you see on the DeFalco controllers. Hopefully that helped. I could grab my controller. All right, Greg, here you go. So this piece right here is called the network, and it unplugs off the circuit board, and it is full of resistors. And you plug it in, and it gives you an ohm rating. So it allows you to change the rating, basically the sensitivity of the controller. And what else? Yeah, Josh says the Falcon controllers have interchangeable resistor networks available. I'm not an electrical guru, so I'm not sure the ins and outs of it. Hello, New Zealand. MFR Slotworks. Thanks for jumping in, man. Appreciate you. You're a long way. You are keen to check out Fast Laps. Yes, so you can go to fastlaps.com, FASLAPS.com, and check out the software. I actually have a video that I put out there of the latest changes. You can kind of get a view of it. It looks fantastic. It's very modern. It's really, really cool program. And then, 4 lanes. I think we decided that we really, no matter what this layout looks like, we're probably going to stick with 4 lanes. It's just so much fun. So, yeah. Hey, Brandon. Good evening. Thanks for tuning in, man. Good to have you. The different networks change how your car reacts with the controller input. Yep. In its simplest term. Hey, Jim. Thanks for jumping on. We're about to wrap things up. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate you, man. Strictly for analog use, Fast Laps or RC, must pick one. Vin, strictly analog. I'm going to go Fast Laps. Understand that Fast Laps is a 2-screen environment, so you have to extend the desktop to the second screen. Race Coordinator is great. Race Coordinator is free. And so that has a lot going for it because of that. And it will be worth paying. There will be a free version of Fast Laps as well. But some of the things that I use, I'll have to upgrade, and it will be worth purchasing for me. Yep. So that's my 2 cents. It is a great program. He's got a final couple things that he needs to finish up. He needs to. One of the things that he's doing is the next on deck, next up, so that on the race screen you can look up and see who's in the next heat. I told him that's super important at the club track, and that was one of the things when we used it at Greg's. It worked great. We'll use it this Saturday for my race. But people kept asking, who's next? Who's next? Who's in the next race? And it's easy to see when you look at the track manager's screen. It's right there. But it needs to be on the race screen that's up on the screen that all the drivers see. So, but that's coming. He's working on it with a couple of other features that are going to be really cool. So, let's see. As we're trying to wrap things up. Guys, 71 likes. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Guys, this has been fun. Marty, you're popular. M8, my typing finger is numb. I'm not sure. It's funny. Good night, Jamie. See you, Jamie. I noticed the faster network on short straights. Yeah, that's where you would notice it. You get up to speed just the touch quicker. Yeah, Josh makes a good recommendation. I only have 2 networks. They're not super expensive. I need to order a couple more. Tim, looking it up now. Homework network. There you go. Yeah, it's all about the ohm rating. It's basically a changeable ohm rating for the controller. Thanks for the explanation. I probably won't fully understand until I try one. Yep, I'm calling it a night too. Lower number, the faster the power curve. There you go. Till next week, guys, we'll see you. This electrical engineer will see into simple. There you go. Circuit. Projected release date. Vin, he's super close. I know that he was trying to line up the pay models and get those sorted out. And these last couple updates that he has, he wants to finish those before he releases. It wouldn't surprise me if he's released before the end of the year. I hope I'm not speaking for Patrick. I don't want to give him a timeline that he can't keep, but I know that he was really pushing to get it done. He's been working on this project for 10 years, guys. Like, he's been working on it a long time and still hasn't released it because he wants it to be really good. Now, there are a lot of tracks, commercial tracks out there that are already using it. that he's been working with and getting feedback from. But I will tell you, it's the last year, it's probably one of my favorite slot car projects I've been working on. Patrick's been great to work with and very open to my opinions on things. And I've always been careful. I never wanted to like hurt his feelings with my feedback. But he just keeps hitting home runs every time I bring up something. He's like, I've already thought about that. Or he's just doing a really good job to try to make a good product. So, Vin, if you have any more questions, man, reach out to me, send me an email. I'm happy to send you screenshots and video so you can really see it in action, because I think you would really like it. Yep. The more electric the resistors allows, the faster the response of the trigger. Let's see what else. So, guys, we're going to wrap things up. Thanks. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I didn't miss any more questions. Yeah, Vin, it does have fuel management. You can set it up if you have sensors for it. So you'd have to set up a couple sensors so that it knows you're in the pit lane for analog, but it will do fuel management. I'm pretty sure it does on the digital side. I caught the end of it. Can I have to get myself a DeFalco controller now? Let's see. Chris says 2-line slot cars, DeFalco 301 or the 302 controller. The 302 has the traction control, and I have a 301 and a 302, and I'm happy with either one. But it is nice to be able to just dial in a touch of that traction control, and it really just helps coming out of a corner. And so I think it's worth the $60, but Chris, that's up to you. Chris, when you're here at the track, you're on my controller, and that's the 302. Yeah. If you remember, that's what Marco said that he uses, the 302. It's a really good controller. All right. We're going to call it a night, guys. Thanks. I really appreciate you, and go have some fun racing. This has been fun, but thanks for tuning in. It means a lot. Guys, have a great week. And I'll make an announcement about live streaming the race on Saturday here at 2 Lines. Woo. My wife can't wait. See you guys.